Okay, and I am live. I'm actually not live. I figured out how to use StreamYard so that it appears like I'm live, but I'm not actually live. I'm actually recording this at 1:47 p.m. on Wednesday. So what I figured out I can do, last minute, my daughter needed a ride to the train station today. She has to be there for a departure at 5 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, let me see if this new feature I read about on StreamYard works. And so I tested it out the other day, and I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me and commented so that I could see that that feature works, or at least I knew how to do it. So this is the Not So Live at 5. If you're new, and we do have a lot of new people in the group, so I just want to explain. Normally, the Wednesday Live at 5 is 5. Is live. I go live every Wednesday and give you more of the protocol. I chunk down the information and give you the entire protocol so that you can start healing your symptoms right away, just the way I did. So it's hours and hours of information. So every Wednesday, there's a new topic. That week we talk about the topic in the group and you build upon the information. All right, so this week we're going to be talking about what the hell can I eat? I hear that from a lot of my clients because, yeah, we're always talking about what to stay away from, right? We want to stay away from anything that feeds the virus, the gluten, the dairy, the eggs, heavy metals. They're like, okay, what's left? So rather than giving you specific items and brands that you need to look for at the store, what I did was I came up with this system that you can easily follow and apply to all of your foods. Okay, so as we're going through this, even though I pre-recorded it and it appears that I'm going live, when I drop her off at 4:30, she departs at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to jump on here and attend so that I'll be in the comments and I'll still be able to answer your questions. So just know that I am here, but this portion was pre-recorded. I'm live in the comments. So as you're jumping on, please say hi, tell me where you are, where you're from, and if you have any questions, you don't have to wait until the end. You can just throw them in this way. I'll scroll through and answer them. All right, so this is what I came up with to simplify it for everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through the whole diagram. You can download this in the files section of the group. So when I get done, and if I won't forget, I have to remind myself, I'm writing that down now. When I get done, I will show you. If you don't know where the files section is, I'll share my screen so that you can see, because I didn't know where it was when I first started using Facebook, or actually years after. Files section. Okay. All right, and this is always going to be in the files section. And then I upload these videos and I put them on YouTube. So you don't have to attend the Live at 5s. They are there for you so that if you want to get me live, ask me questions, bounce things off of me, great, attend the Live at 5. I'll be there. Whatever question I get in the comments, I'll answer on the video. But if you can't get to it, if that time doesn't work for you, I upload all of them on YouTube. Just search for Minding Your Soul, look for the green logo, and all the Live at 5 videos stay on YouTube, and then you can watch them at your leisure whenever you can. All right, so here I go. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Okay, very good. We're going to do this first and make it a full screen so you guys, so it's not so small. Okay, so what I did was I broke this down into first the two categories right here: foods that feed the virus, foods that don't feed the virus. We pretty much all know by now that the foods that feed the virus, and we're talking about the Epstein-Barr virus, if you're unfamiliar with the Epstein-Barr virus being the root cause of autoimmune symptoms, not just MS symptoms, but autoimmune symptoms, then go back a video or two where I talk about the Epstein-Barr connection. It will walk you through the 4 stages of the virus and also how the virus is responsible for our symptoms. But if you're already caught up, or if you're going to go back later and catch up, that's fine. I wanted to just explain what the virus was. But first, there are 2 categories: foods that feed the virus and then foods that don't feed the virus. Okay, you're going to keep that in mind always. Foods that feed the virus are gluten, dairy, eggs, heavy metals. Now, heavy metals not really a food, but it feeds the virus. In order to get rid of the heavy metals, we drink the heavy metal detox smoothie from the medical medium, and that safely and gently lifts all of the heavy metals together. All of those ingredients work together and flush them out of the body. So, eggs, yeah, eggs from ducks, chickens, any kind of eggs, unfortunately, feed the virus. Now, if you look at these three things, the gluten, the dairy, the eggs, why do viruses love this so much? Why is that their food? I get that question a lot. And the answer is gluten, dairy, and eggs, they are a very dense protein. Very dense protein. Now, there are other proteins out there, but for some reason, the Epstein-Barr virus is partial to gluten. Gluten is the name of the protein that is found in certain grains. It's not in all grains, like quinoa. Quinoa is your most perfect food. It is your only plant-based protein, okay? But some people think it's a grain, some people think it's a protein. I think it's kind of both. But there are very safe grains out there. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. There are very safe grains out there that don't contain gluten. So do your homework, do a Google search, and figure out the gluten-free grains, because those you can eat. Those are healthy for you. So then the second category is foods that don't feed the virus. Now I've broken this category into red, yellow, green. So you've got your healing foods. You want to fill up your day with these foods. 90% of your foods, you want them to be healing. Now, yeah, of course you want 100%, but is that realistic? No. So we're always going to be coming in contact with some kind of neutral or red foods, right? So what are healing foods? We'll go through each one. We already know this: fruits, vegetables, healthy fats and oils, protein, gluten-free grains. Now, if you are a vegetarian, do I have to eat protein in order to heal? No, not at all. My daughter's a vegetarian. I eat mostly vegetarian just because I don't cook two things. But there's nothing wrong with meat. For the people who like to eat meat, eat meat. Make sure that it's grass-fed if you're going to eat the red meat. Make sure the chicken doesn't have any antibiotics or chemicals. Try to eat as clean as possible when it comes to meat. But I don't have an opinion on whether or not you should be vegetarian or not. Meat doesn't feed the virus. Does it inflame your body? Well, it depends on the quality of meat that you're eating. So see how there's not one answer for everything, but we kind of can use our common sense when it comes to, we're buying crappy meat, it's filled with antibiotics and hormones. Of course, that's not good for our body. But as far as whether or not vegetarian is better, it is for some people. Is eating meat better? It is for some people. So that's up to you. So you want to fill most of your diet with these healing foods: fruits, vegetables, healthy fats and oils, protein, gluten-free grains. Now, you're going to come into this neutral category when you want to eat your gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free processed foods. There are some really good, like crackers and dairy-free sour cream and yogurt. Those are the things you kind of like want to sprinkle in your diet. You don't want them to be most of your diet, but of course, we're all going to eat some processed foods. Just make sure that they're gluten, dairy, and egg-free. These I consider neutral because they don't really inflame the body. They don't really heal the body. They're kind of just useless calories that taste really good, and sometimes that's what we need. So that's why they're in the neutral category. What you want to try to use as sparingly as possible. This is red, the red category, and these foods are highly inflammatory. They're going to inflame the shit out of your body. And when we're trying to heal, we're trying to bring down the inflammation so that all of the antioxidants that we put in our body has less work to do, so that it can get to other things that have kind of been on the back burner because they've been addressing all the inflammation in your body. So the more you can help your body do what it needs to do, the faster you're going to heal. I love the analogy of the cleaning person because I so want one. So my analogy is, if you have an extremely messy house and you have a cleaning person come in once a day, but they can only stay 30 minutes a day, right? But they come in every day. For that 30 minutes, they're going to come in and they're going to do as much as they can. Probably just, if your house is pretty messy, probably just like the surface cleaning, right? When they leave, until they come back the next day, what are you going to do? Are you going to mess up everything that they just cleaned up so that when they come back the next day, they're cleaning up the same stuff again? Or are you going to maintain what they did and do a little extra when you can? so that when they come back the next day, they can get to more important things. And then you maintain, and then they come back the next day, and eventually they're getting into the really important things like scrubbing the tub and cleaning out the closets and cleaning underneath the bed, because I haven't gotten to that in God knows how long. So your body works the same way. It has a priority list. So you want to shorten the list as much as possible. The list of things that your immune system has to work on, the list of things that the antioxidants that you eat, the fruits and vegetables, you want to lighten the load of free radicals. So when I talk about inflammatory foods, those are the foods really that inflame the body, that increase the number of free radicals in our body. I did a whole video on the free radicals. It's called the superheroes. Enlist the superheroes, I think I called it. So we have this ability to flood our body with superheroes. And what do the superheroes do? They come into our body, and of course they're wearing capes because, they're superheroes. And in their capes are filled with electrons. Why electrons? Well, you have to know what a free radical is. A free radical is a molecule that's missing an electron. When it's missing an electron, it becomes unstable. So every cell in your body is made up of molecules. If you have a free radical inside your body, a molecule that's missing an electron, it's unstable and it starts to shake and starts to go, I need an electron, I need an electron. So it goes over to another molecule in your body and either steals it away from that healthy molecule, or that molecule goes, all right, dude, relax, I got one for you. And it gives away one of its very important electrons. Then unknowingly, that molecule becomes unstable and is now a free radical. Now that doesn't seem so bad because you're like, all right, well, eventually they're all going to run out of electrons or I'm going to replace them. No, your body is always replicating. It's always replicating cells. That's why we're alive, right? Our cells just don't die. We replicate ourselves. So the cells that replicate aren't just the healthy cells. They're the free radical cells too, right? So that free radical is constantly replicating itself. Now it's replicating another free radical. So when you put the free radicals in your body, it's not only that amount, because that amount is then going to multiply. So the fruits and vegetables are the superheroes of the body because they come into the body and they can give out electrons to all the free radicals, as many electrons as it has, without becoming unstable itself. And then on the way out, it grabs a bunch of unnecessary, useless stuff in your body, fills up those pockets in the cape that are now empty because all the electrons have been given out. So it's grabbing all the crap on its way out, throwing it in its cape, and it comes out of your poop. That's the fiber. So that's the story I like to tell my kids because I'm a visual learner and I figured if they had a story that they could follow along with, it would make them more likely to eat fruits and vegetables. And I hope it works for you because it really does work for me. So what I tell them when we go into the produce section of the grocery store that all of these fruits and vegetables, those are the superheroes, and they're all wearing different colored capes. And the different colored capes have all the different types of electrons that can be given away to all the different types of free radicals in our body, right? So all different colored superheroes, that's what you want to fill your body with. This green section right here. Neutral, sprinkle them in. I totally get it. I do the same thing. Dairy-free, egg-free, gluten-free, processed foods. They don't heal. They don't really do that much damage, but we need them in our lives. And then the inflammatory foods. Now, those are the rancid oils, the shelf-stable oils, like coconut oil, great oil. The, canola oil, no, that's a rancid one. So do your homework, simple Google search, what is a healthy oil and what is a rancid shelf stable, that's what they call it, oil. Corn I used to be very affected by because I couldn't digest it. That was years ago before I healed. Now that I'm healed, I can eat corn. It doesn't bother me. Do I eat it very often? No. I can't remember the last time I had a bowl of popcorn just because I've been too lazy since my son's been born 4 months ago to make my popcorn because I make the old school popcorn. I should just buy the bag that goes in the microwave, but I haven't found one that has like a clean ingredient statement. There's so much shit in there. So I have this whirly pop thing. You put the oil in, you put the kernels in, and you turn it. It turns the bottom, and it pops up. And then I sprinkle in little chocolate chips. It's absolutely freaking amazing. I haven't done that in 4 months, but I will eat corn now because I can digest it. So I couldn't before. So if one of these inflammatory foods are causing you havoc, don't eat it for a while. See what happens. If one of the neutral foods is causing havoc, don't eat it for a while. And by causing havoc, you're going to know by your digestion. You're going to know if you're not digesting it very well, then you know your body's having a really hard time with it. So you got to play with these things. When I say that they're inflammatory, I don't mean that they feed the virus, but they do inflame your body. So sugar is one of those things where a lot of protocols say no sugar, no sugar, no sugar. No, you know what? Processed sugar, yeah, it's not great, but it doesn't feed the virus. So depending on what your goal is, if you're addicted to sugar, if you have a yeast overgrowth, which is known as candida, then yeah, you're going to want to detox yourself off of sugar. Sugar in itself does not feed the virus. So depending on what your goals are, if you're here to heal MS and eliminate all the foods that feed the virus, sugar is not one of them. You just don't want to eat a ton of it. And you want to get most of your sugar from fruits. So just keep in mind that we're not sugar-free in this group. We just eat it sparingly because it's not the best thing for you. Neither MSG, artificial colors, sweeteners, alcohol. I spelled alcohol wrong. I just noticed that. I'll fix that later. Artificial colors and artificial sweeteners and anything hydrogenated, I stay away from, and I tell the kids to stay away from like the plague. There are 3 things to absolutely avoid. And you know what? I'm always updating this diagram. I'll update it again with those things to stay away from. Anything hydrogenated partially or fully, artificial sweeteners and artificial colors. Do the research on those. Those are the things that are known to cause cancer, are known to cause black holes in our brain. They're known for cell death, but yet they're still approved to be put in our food. So artificial colors, artificial sweeteners, and anything hydrogenated, avoid like the Black Plague. Other than that, when you're looking at something to eat, let's say pizza. Janine, my favorite food is pizza. And I say pizza because that's my favorite food. Make it gluten-free, make it dairy-free. In fact, Banza, B-A-N-Z-A, that's the brand of the gluten-free crust, pizza crust that I buy. You can get at Whole Foods. It doesn't have eggs in it. So be careful. When it says gluten-free and dairy-free, always read the ingredient statement. When you're picking up a product, don't just go by what's on the front label, gluten-free, dairy-free, Turn it around. Don't even worry about those. Turn it around, look at the ingredient statement, and start understanding what the ingredients are. You've heard it all before. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Just know what you're looking at. Know what you're putting inside of your body, because the only way you're going to get a clear picture as to what you can eat and what you can't eat is how you feel. Okay, and you are going to be able to then establish a pattern of what you ate and how you feel. The only way you could establish that pattern is if you pay attention in the moment and then look in hindsight. Hindsight is going to tell you how you ate, what you ate, and how you felt. And then you're going to start establishing a pattern. Now that you have this diagram, I'm hoping that it's going to be easier when you're at the grocery store to pick up a food and go, is this something that is going to heal me or hurt me? When I started my healing journey, that was the question I used to always ask myself. Is this food going to heal me or is it going to hurt me? If it was going to hurt me, I'd be like, all right, well, how worth it is it? And when I say hurt me, I don't mean gluten, dairy, eggs. I stayed away from them completely. I'm talking about the inflammatory foods. How worth it is it? Do I need this? Can I find a healthier version? And yes, going to the grocery store when you're making this transition is going to suck because we're busy. We don't have time to read all the ingredient statements. I get it. I totally get it. So what you're going to do is, this is going to be an evolution. This is not something where you're going to say, okay, I'm going to start it tomorrow. I'm going to eat all green foods. No, this is an evolution. Go through your pantry, go through your refrigerator, figure out the foods that you need to replace. I would always say, go for your comfort foods first. The dairy, mine is always pizza, pasta, ice cream. The pasta 10 years ago was impossible to find a good gluten-free pasta. Today, they're all over the place. Barilla, the brand, is my favorite, but depending on where you are, you might not have that brand. Test them out. So maybe one week you go, you know what? This week when I go grocery shopping, this is the week I'm going to try some gluten-free pastas. It's an evolution. We can't make all of these changes overnight, and even if you could, you're going to drive yourself crazy. It's not worth it, and you're not going to stick to it. So in order to stick to this, realize that it took us years to get sick, right? To get to this point. It's going to take a little while to figure out a new way of being so that we now start healing, continue healing, and then heal our bodies. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some time, utilize this group. And I just remembered, I don't want to forget, I want to show you guys exactly where you can find this and a whole bunch of other like really useful things. Inside the group, inside your Minding Your Soul group, you have this menu across the top, right, with all these things. If you're looking at your phone, you probably have a smaller menu because it's a smaller screen, but then at the end, you'll have the More button. Click on the More button, and you'll probably find the Files option underneath there. So see all these right here? You want to go to, let me put this up a little bit further, the Files section, which is right here. You click on that, and that is going to take you to all the really cool things that we're doing in this group. Now, I just realized I'm recording this, and so by the time you see this, it's going to be 5 o'clock. It's going to be after 5 o'clock. I scheduled the post with this document in it to go off at 5:05. So you'll see this video pop up at 5 o'clock, and then at 5:05, you'll have the post of the document in the Files section. So as soon as you're done watching this, you can go right into the Files section. And just keep in mind, like all of these other sections here, we're going to be doing a room probably next week. And when I say a room, it's kind of like Zoom. So when I say, hey, listen, we're going into a room. Do you have any questions? Like, come meet me, come talk to me. This is what I'm talking about in room. It's not created yet, but you'll see, I'll probably call it Janine's Q&A. And you just click on that button, and it's kind of like Zoom. Like, I'm right there. You're right there. We can see each other. So I think that was all I wanted to discuss. Let me just... Yeah, that was everything. All right, guys, thank you so much. Let me go back so I could actually see. Stop sharing. Stop share? Yeah, okay, there I am. All right, so I hope you're putting your comments and questions in the comment section. I'll be in there answering anything. If there's any content that I haven't talked about that you're wondering about, either put it here, send me an email, post it in the group. All of the content that I go over is for you. So if there's something you want me to elaborate on or talk about, just let me know and I'll make a video for you. All right, so next Wednesday we will return to being live again, so I can answer, so I can answer your questions in real time. But honestly, I'm going to be doing that this time. We'll see how it goes. I'm very hopeful. All right, so it's 2:10. I have to leave in 20 minutes for Philadelphia. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and I will see you in the group. Bye.